Welcome to episode number 197 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for all of you marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on YouTube on August 3, 2017. Plenty of stuff to talk about this week, including NASA's Guardian of the Galaxy, social media subscriptions, Honolulu hijinks, direct mail data mining, Google crisis alert, podcast tours, Lord birthday, paid placements, a PR pitch from hell, Nazi glitter, and fishing drones. We started off with the best story of the week, and BL always has the honors. BL, what was that story?
Well, I don't know if you're looking for a job, but NASA has one for a superhero. NASA's looking for a planetary protection officer to protect the planet from potential alien contamination. And the U.S. government's official employment site posted the ad, and it's open to all U.S. citizens and nationals, and applications are open until August 14th, so you still have time. The job comes with pay between $124,406 and $187,000 per year, depending on your experience. Security clearance is listed as secret, and the role involves stopping astronauts and robots from getting contaminated with any organic and biological material during space travel. The person who lands the gig leads independent evaluation of and provides advice regarding compliance by robotic and human spaceflight missions with NASA planetary protection policies, statutory requirements, and internal obligations. Initially, it's a 3-year contract. It may be extended for a further 2 years. And right now they're planning several missions, including one to Jupiter's icy moon Europa, which is one of their coolest ever, where they're going to search for signs of alien life. And the only thing about this job, there's a listing that has your chance for promotion. It lists that as 0. So they want broad engineering expertise, and you should be an expert in planetary protection. Apparently there are some people like that out there. And this includes demonstrated technical expertise to independently form technically sound judgments and evaluations in considerably complex situations. You should also have a degree in physical science, engineering, or mathematics. I would guess being able to add superhero on your resume would also be useful.
Yeah, well, now that you've read the job description, it doesn't sound nearly as exciting as the headline made it appear to be.
I know, but still it would be. It would be, you'd be out there in space and protecting really us from contamination,
defending the world from hostile aliens. It's more like a very, very high-tech janitorial job.
I guess it is. That's very funny.
So I've been meaning to talk about this story for a while, but now I'm getting around to it. This is my own experience, and it's a great example of how to do direct mail. Back in the 90s, I used to subscribe to Foreign Affairs magazine. It's kind of it feels like a quarterly, but it's actually published every other month. But it's kind of a book-like magazine. It includes articles by thought leaders in the foreign policy world. It's the magazine that was published Samuel Huntington's infamous Clash of Civilizations article back in the 90s. Most recent issue has articles by Elliot Abrams, who was a foreign policy advisor for Reagan and George W. Bush, and Senator Tim Kaine, who was, of course, Hillary Clinton's running mate this past election. So in February, I started thinking about resubscribing for fairly obvious reasons. I visited foreignaffairs.com, filled out the subscription form, but then I got distracted by a shiny object, of course, and never submitted it. But a couple of weeks later, I got a direct mail piece with a discount offer. So I'm like, how did they know where I lived? I didn't submit the form. So they must have been capturing the contents of the form fields. And even so, I'd moved several times since I subscribed to it last time. So it appears that they were using a commercial service to find me. by matching, my email address or whatever my name may be with a database of a current database that a commercial service would have. So anyway, I returned the direct mail subscription form with a check, and then a week ago, I got another direct mail piece asking me to renew my subscription early.
Yeah, that's called renewal at birth.
Okay, yeah. It gave me a discount, not the introductory rate, but a big discount, and I will get a handsome booklet for people who keep up with the world events, which I don't need, but I will renew, but only because world leadership is currently unstable and I need to pay attention.
To say the least.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an excellent example of keeping your mailing list clean and up to date, and finding lost subscribers. So I was very impressed with it.
That's rather remarkable, really. I just actually renewed my subscription to the New Yorker, and they were sending me renewal for $99 a year, and I wasn't going to pay $99 a year. And so it turns out that if you call them and say, I'm not going to pay $99 a year, they say, well, let's see if we can do anything about that. And then they come back and say, well, you can pay $57. Well, thank you very much. I'll take that. But you have to make the phone call, which is just annoying. Just offer it for $57 and let's move on.
Because then you make a phone call and say, I don't want to pay $57.
Most people won't. Most people just either won't resubscribe or will pay the $99. And I would not. I love the New Yorker. I mean, I would hate to miss that. So this is contentious. Apparently, you don't agree with it, but there's a law that makes it illegal to look at your phone while crossing the street in Honolulu. And this comes from a Twitter moment, and there were people split on whether this law makes sense in the first place. I'm a New Yorker. I think it's a great idea, but you'd have to have somebody bust just about 1 and 2 New Yorkers because everybody's walking around with their head in their phone. So, it's an unenforceable law in New York. I don't know about Honolulu. I don't know what the street traffic is like, but you apparently think that's a bad idea, and I think it's a great one.
Yeah, it's stupid. I look at my phone all the time while I'm walking, and I haven't got run over. The people who get run over, it's just called natural selection.
Okay, that's terrible.
We have skyways in Minneapolis, so people it's not on the street level that people do it on the street level too, but people do it through the skyway system and run into you all the time, and well, you just have to deal with it.
I walk around going, heads up, heads up. Get out of my way. Okay, what do you got, Dave?
Yeah, so that's not nearly the crisis that the Honolulu lawmakers want to make it out to be. But this is a crisis story from Search Engine Land. Amy Gessenhues is the writer, and she tells us that Google is introducing new SOS alerts to its crisis response search features. So SOS alerts will appear at the top of search results related to an incident. So presumably a terrorist incident, natural disaster, things like that. So that when you search for it, you'll get the latest information about it. The searches will include where the location, where the crisis happened. Alerts will include maps, top stories about the crisis, local information from authorities when that's available. It will also show up on Google Maps on mobile devices with a specific icon and a tappable card. That will include more crisis-related information, real-time traffic, and transit updates. So an interesting new development from Google.
Are you also able to mark yourself as safe or let people know where you are?
It doesn't say. It
didn't say that, I know. Well, I had practically scared half to death yesterday. It was raining, and all of a sudden there was like this loud alert, boop, 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 on my phone to tell me that there might be a lot of rain. Yeah, thanks a lot. I don't know if you get those, and I don't know how they get in there or how to turn them off, but every once in a while they come. They're very scary. So,
I have an alert system that tells me about the weather that never fails.
Oh.
It's out the window.
Wise guy. So Facebook says they want to help news publishers sell subscriptions, but they don't want a cut of the revenue and they don't want the data. Now, this sounds really much too nice of Facebook, but they said that they will, instead of operating a subscription service of their own, they're going to create a paywall that would be implemented after you read 10 articles a month from a particular publisher. And at that point, they plan on sending users to that publisher's site to sign up for a subscription. And it distinguishes Facebook from other big platforms, including Apple, which sells digital subscriptions through its App Store and its Apple News feature, but they take 30% of the monthly revenue, and they also get direct access to subscriber data. So Facebook's paywall plans are part of their ongoing effort to address publishers' complaints about the way they use their work and the kind of compensation they get, which relates not only to articles, but also to videos. But it's a step in the right direction.
It is, but do it with caution as usual,
Yeah.
Podcast touring.
What is that?
Exactly. I had never, I saw a headline with podcast touring, like, what do I need to know about that? This is from Hot Pod Newsletter by Nicholas Qua, which anybody who wants to follow the industry, the podcast industry, should subscribe to this newsletter. It is the authoritative source of industry stuff on podcasts. But anyway, Nicholas Qua reports that he did an email interview with a guy named Josh Lindgren, who is an agent for the Billions Corporation, which is a 28-year-old touring agency that books live performances for a select roster of artists. They book tours, one-offs, festivals, conferences, things like that. But their clients include Mumford & Sons, Death Cab for Cutie, Arcade Fire, Sufjan Stevens. So they've got a A-list client roster. But several years ago, they started applying this model to in their relationships to the industry of live podcasts. We do a live podcast, GL. They represent podcasts like Stuff You Should Know, 538's election podcast, Garrison Keillor. I thought it was a fascinating development doing live podcasts. Obviously, you need a critical mass of listeners for it to work, but it does make a lot of sense if you have that.
Well, it'd be nice if we could get on it. So I'm done with good news. I'm
All right, I got
bad news.
I got another one. Let's stay on the good stuff for a while. Lord Birthday. This is fantastic. I came across this from the NPR podcast Invisibilia. And there's this guy with a twisted sense of humor who draws list cartoons. So they're cartoons that include a list of things. And he's become so popular. He's got like 150,000 Instagram followers. He posts these cartoons to his Instagram account. He's selling signed prints of these cartoons on his website. An example, it's funny. An example is how to seem like a normal person at social events. So some of the tips to seem like a normal person at social events. 1, wear a hat. Do not wear a helmet. No helmets. 2, talk to people. Do not gather mice and raise up a choir unto the Lord. 3, say things like, how are you? Never say boo boo ding dong doo doo. Why would you say that? 4, have a drink. Do not disrobe. Robe equals stay on. 5, eat hors d'oeuvres. Do not suck up. Do not suck on a balled up napkin. Good God. 6, scan the crowd for a suitable lover. Do not loudly announce that this is what you're doing. 7, dance to the music. Don't flop around. Foam flying from your mouth. Be sturdy and full of hope. 8. Ask people for their phone numbers. If they decline, do not dive into the nearest garbage can. 9, say goodbye to everyone. Do not say you will see them in hell. It is not funny. It is true. You are all going to hell.
That's hilarious. When you put that in the notes, I went to look at him. He is a riot.
Yeah. All right, now we can go to worst.
Okay, well, this one's about Twitter, and it's a ham-handed attempt by Twitter to make money, because that's what Wall Street wants them to do. So they're testing a subscription-style ad program. This is from a Marketing Land story by Tim Peterson, and it's a $99 a month program, and for that monthly fee, Twitter will promote up to 10 tweets a day in addition to running month-long promoted account ads. So it's an invite-only beta program. It appears to be aimed at smaller advertisers who use Twitter's self-serve ad buying tools, but they might be interested in handing the reins to Twitter to focus on managing the rest of their business. It could also appeal to individuals who want to grow their Twitter followings. But the thing is, there's caveats. Not every tweet that's added to your promoted tweet campaign will serve an impression, and the extent each tweet is promoted may vary based on performance, according to Twitter, which is how their last ad thing that they had at the beginning, ads would only continue to show if they were registering engagement. So they're going back to that. But the thing that really is probably likely to be a deal breaker is advertisers can't pick which tweets are promoted, and they have very little control over to whom they're shown. And then any account that signs up for this loses access to Twitter's normal ad platform. And they say on Twitter's business blog, in order to participate in this private beta program, your previous ads account will no longer be accessible. Well, that's a lot of things to give up and give over. So I wonder how popular that's going to be.
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster waiting
It
to
sounds
happen.
like a disaster. It absolutely does. And the bottom line is nobody minds seeing ads in Twitter. If every 10th tweet was an ad, who would care? You just go buy it, or look at it if you were interested. If they were good, people would click on them. I mean, just like anywhere else. It's just stupid. Now that's stupid.
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 Stupid. Here's a, I don't know if this is kind of weird. Nazi glitter. This is from a PR Daily article by Kevin Allen. So there's a tote bag that an online retailer, Bell Chic, was it was designed by Quotable Life, was selling, that became the subject of controversy this week when somebody noticed that the message on the tote, which read, "My favorite color is glitter," used a poor choice of font that turned the message into, if you just glanced at it, turned the message into, "My favorite color is Hitler." So the G looks like an H, and if you just glance at it, yeah, it does look that way. And of course, what goes online gets pointed out on Twitter, so people were pointing this out when they discovered it. One person said, "When your favorite color appears to be Hitler because of a poor choice of font." Bell Chic has since changed the bag's design. They issued an apology, posted a mea culpa on Twitter. They said, "We are beyond embarrassed about the design of our glitter," all caps, tote bag. We replaced it with a new design. Hope you like this one better, and they show it. And then in a statement that was published by Allure, their CEO, Matt Mullen, said, "When I realized that most of the social media buzz and commentary has been tongue-in-cheek, the type of abhorrent sentiment conveyed as part of the misinterpretation absolutely does not align with our company values, nor is it something we would ever want to encourage or support." I mean, they're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Clearly, it appears to be an honest mistake, but also I do think it's symptomatic of American society's poor educational standards. I would like to think that if I was choosing the product, it wouldn't have escaped my notice, because I actually read history and understand World War II history.
Well, not only that, but you probably have a better understanding of type and how it presents, I mean, really, like type, what's type? Ask anybody. Okay, so this is a little bit of a rant. I have this new company called Funwalkers, and I've been starting to get some press on it, and the sales are picking up. And I get an email on Monday that says that basically I'd be a great interview for this program called Newswatch. And it says, if you never caught an episode, we're a 30-minute consumer review show that airs in over 200 markets and 95 million U.S. households on the AMC network. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on TV. This is so exciting. This is going to make my brand. And then I Googled them. And I found a Reddit post asking if they were legit and were they a real company and did they actually run a show. And it turns out every segment is a paid placement. And I didn't stick around long enough to find out how much it cost, but it turned out that it was $15,000 and up. And, I have no problem with paid placements. I mean, they're in every movie you see, they're in every TV show you see. There's no accident that, you know, somebody drinks a particular brand of vodka or soda or drives a certain car. Those are paid placements. That's fine. That's part of the environment. But if you're going to lie about it and misrepresent it, this is just wrong. So they answered on Reddit and they said, you know, we want to stress that we're not a fraudulent company. You know, well, that's true, but they didn't say it was a paid placement in the email. I had to Google them to find out and then ask. So when I wrote back to the guy and I said, this is a startup company, I don't have a big ad budget, he canceled the interview and he said that would really be a waste of time. So, you know, the point is real news exposure does not cost you. And stuff like this is just wrong. And you should just send it to spam. It's a big fail. Screw them. Screw
Yeah, well,
Newswatch.
So this is not a fraud, but this is cheating. So this is from a Bloomberg article by Adam Popescu, who talks about a product called the Power Ray, which is a submersible drone that you attach to your fishing line, and it's basically a submarine that spots fish for you. It relays their position to you. It attracts them with a built-in light and a bait drop. That's just, why fish then? That's cheating.
Why do it? Yeah, that's a good question. You shouldn't need to do that. So I have kept track over the years of the various PR pitches and emails from hell, and I got one today that's on the top of my list. The subject line was "Attention Owner," and it starts out "Hello, comma." And, you know, then it tells me, the first line says, I'm a publicist and I represent all these great brands. So I wrote back and I said, attention owner, are you kidding me? You didn't bother to look up my name? Please don't contact me again. And then I sent it to my friend Joan Stewart, the publicity hound. And she said, believe me, I've seen a lot worse. And I guess over the years I have too. But, you know, no, you're not a publicist. You're a flack.
Yeah, do a little legwork, people, you know. Just a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just for 2 seconds you can find out what somebody's name is and what the name of their site is, and if you should bother to contact them at all because they don't cover what you're talking about. Those are my favorites.
Mm-hmm. So on to shiny new stuff.
Yes, go ahead.
So this, I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, but I waited till I actually tried it out, and I've been playing around with it this week, and it's fantastic. Google Data Studio. So it is part of their analytics solution suite. You can use it to create custom interactive shareable dashboards. It's integrated with Google products, so Google Analytics, Google AdWords, DoubleClick Campaign Manager, Search Console, YouTube Analytics. It has database connectors. It has a MySQL connector, so you could connect it to your WordPress site and pull in data from your WordPress site. It's integrated with Google Sheets, so you can upload third-party data to Google Sheets and integrate it into that, and then you can just pull out all the data from all those different sources and create beautiful dashboards. It's drag and drop functionality. There's formatting. I've been having a lot of fun playing with it this week, and plan on using it for internal and external projects a lot because
is it free?
It is free. Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this week, Buffer launched Buffer Reply, which is a social customer service software for support teams. And it turns your Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram engagement into threaded conversations. And it puts them in one inbox so that if you need to tackle sensitive issues and support issues, it allows you to move your public tweets to direct messages without having to follow each one. And it includes personal signatures from team members. You can add emojis and GIFs. But, you know, I object to, when I'm complaining, I want that to be public. So I object to being asked to go to DMs. And I find you really get a lot more done if you don't do that. But at any rate, this costs $110 to $300 a month.
Wow.
Might be useful.
It sounds very useful, but then also, yeah.
You know, when I want to complain, I want everybody to know it.
Yes, yes, as you've demonstrated twice this podcast. So,
Okay.
yeah, so this is a very cool tool called Who Shared My Link, and it's Muckrack provides it. So you plug in a URL of a page, and it gives you the total social shares of that page by network: Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Pinterest, but oddly not Twitter. Must be because their API is because they no longer provide that in their API. That's why.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It also tells you which journalists, because Muckrack is a directory of journalists. It tells you which journalist wrote the article, and it gives you a journalist reach. So this is the total number of followers who shared the link on Twitter of the journalists who shared the link on Twitter. So journalists who shared the link on Twitter, total number of followers of their followers is the journalist reach number. So
that's a paid feature of their program, right?
Nope, this is a free tool.
Oh, cool! Because they have a wonderful suite of tools for PR people and lists and all that. And I have to try this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this sounds good. That brings us to projects, and you have one.
I do, yeah. So I got I was quoted in an article about think before you write, 7 ways to make your email more professional, which includes a lot of tips from very smart people, and I guess I'm one of them because I'm quoted in it. But mine is prioritize your emails by people prioritize their emails by who sent them, right? That's the single biggest factor in having somebody open an email is a known sender. But then the subject line obviously is the second. So think of yourself, think of what is of value to the sender, man, I'm having difficult time saying this, of value to the recipient. What's in it for the person you're sending it to open it up, and put that in the subject line to get them to open up your email. So that's my tip for that.
That's a good tip. I mean, I get these emails all the time. The latest from whoever, you know, like I'm going to open that to find out what the latest is. Tell me what it is, and I know if I'm going to open it. And there are some publications that do that with every issue. I can't imagine that helps them in any way, but they do it anyway.
Right.
So, this is funny. Okay, so give us the daily numbers.
You laughed at that, huh? So this is from a organization called Brain Juicer, and it was published at Media Post. And just 2 stats here I'm going to cite that caught my eye from a survey of social media users. 9% of consumers connected Twitter with the feeling of contempt. So they feel contempt towards Twitter, 9% do. And 5% associate the brand with disgust. And that struck me. I have never seen any numbers like that for any social media site, and it strikes me that there's a reason for that. And I bet it's a relatively recent reason. Leave that up to the listeners to figure out.
Yeah. See if you can figure out who's disgusted and who hates. I feel the same way about certain people's tweets. I hate to name them, you know. Okay, so thanks for watching episode 197 of the Beyond Social Media Show. Links to all the stories that we discussed will be on our blog, beyondsocialmediashow.com/197. And we'd love for you to let us know what you think by leaving us a review at beyondsocialmediashow.com/love. I'm BL OCHMAN. You will find me on Twitter at What's Next. I blog at What's Next blog. I'm on YouTube as What's Next blog. I have a new site called funwalkers.com, funny license plates for walkers and rollators. And David Erickson, my most charming co-host, is D. Erickson on Twitter. He blogs at estrategyblog.com, creativepr.com/blog. On the web, we are BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Google+. We're on Twitter as BS Media Show. We're on iTunes, and we're on Stitcher and iHeartRadio. And what we would really love for you to do is to go to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast and give us a rating. That would be really helpful and wonderful if you would do that. And we'll be back next week, same time, same station. And we thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for watching.